This week on Dumb Pitches, my guest is Katie Hannigan, and we go full force into a swingers resort. Is that a good idea? Should you ask your boyfriend to go to a swingers resort before you Google? And you got to make sure they have a buffet. Here we go. Great episode. Dumb Pitches.
What a bunch of dumb pitches. Oh my God.
Welcome to another episode of Dumb Pitches with Monica Nevi. I'm Monica Nevi, your host. This is the show where we talk to successful people about their worst ideas. Very excited for our guest this week. Welcome, Katie Hannigan. Yay. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you, Monica. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for doing it. I'm excited. We always love to have people we haven't had before and hear your terrible ideas.
But yes, I have a lot, sadly.
Perfect. Well, yeah, it's a good thing for this show, so that's good. We do like to start by giving everyone your good ideas so they know you haven't only had bad ideas. So, Katie Hannigan, you've been on Comedy Central, you were on Colbert, you have a podcast called Lady Journey, and you have a new album that's coming out in March 18th. It's called A Feeling of Emptiness. Not to mention, if you're in the Seattle area, she'll be headlining Laughs Comedy Club this weekend. It's good.
Woo!
You've done good stuff. And if you want to see the good stuff live, check it out in Seattle. Heck
yes, please come. Please come. And I do have some special ticket codes.
Oh.
So if you can message me, I can give them to you.
Nice.
On like social media, whoever's listening.
Yeah, perfect. If you're listening, we'll mention the handles at the end.
Slide
but
in.
if you're
Slide
watching,
into the DMs.
yeah, if you're watching, you can see her handle underneath there. So, get some. Yeah, might as well see it and a cool special ticket code.
Yes.
All right. Well, okay. So I gave you the criteria for the dumb pitches. What did you come up with?
Well, okay. I just feel like, first of all, I've had so many. But let's start with this one time. I had a little plan because I heard from one of my girlfriends. She told me this story. She was like, "Oh, they were going for a vacation to Mexico. She and her boyfriend." And she was like, "Oh, I thought it was like only an adult resort, but it turned out it was like a swingers resort. It was like adults only." And she was like, "Oh my God, it was so naughty and such an accident. And oh, we like had sex in the pool, but it was crazy."
She's like, oops.
And I was like, yeah, oh, hot. So I was dating somebody and we got some like JetBlue discount tickets to go to Palm Springs. And I was like, well, what if we go to like a swingers? What if we like do it, because they have stuff there. It's like there's all the hot springs in Palm Springs. It's like hot all the time. It's like a very sexy place. Well, actually, it's like a lot of elderly people are there, but it's very sexy. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's sexy if you're like elderly or a gay guy, because there's also like a gay scene there. Yeah. But like for couples, I don't know. So anyway, I was like, I found this place. It's called Sea Mountain Resort Spa, and I love a deal. I just love a deal. And so I was taken in because they said that the cost of admission also included a lunch buffet. So I was like, yes. It was like fried chicken. I was like, okay, I'm sold. I'm totally sold.
Nothing says group sex like a buffet. That's good.
You're going to get a little hungry after you come.
It's true. Yes,
everyone knows this. So I told my boyfriend at the time was like, "Oh my God, like this is a whole new side of you." I was like, "Yes, I'm feeling adventurous. Let's go, let's do it." And then we went online, we're like looking for the tickets. We almost got it. And then I started reading the reviews, and thank God I read the reviews, because every review was like insane. It was like, yes, everyone here is 85 years old.
Yeah.
My boyfriend and I went, we were like young people, the elderly people surrounded us, and we didn't want to have group sex, and then they like shamed us. and the food was also bad. So I just read
even
like,
the buffet part wasn't good. What is it?
the buffet was bad, and it's like, well, I mean, I could have seen that coming, but it's hard to mess up fried chicken, right?
Yeah.
So that was one of my many bad ideas, that I was going to go to an seniors orgy, but I got myself out at the last second by
Reading reviews.
obsessively Googling, and that's
Okay.
the only time obsessive Googling has ever helped
I was
me.
gonna the reviews. I mean, that's honestly okay. So I've read some reviews of. I'm not necessarily. I don't know if it was like a swingers thing, but it's like a nudist resort.
Okay.
And
yes.
almost always those are the reviews. Is like, everyone is old. This isn't what we expected. Which, so when your friend went to this, or accidentally went to this adult Mexico resort, was it the same experience? Were there old people, or were there like other people their age?
Well, first of all, it's an easy mistake. It's an easy mistake. No, she said, first of all, it was in Cancun.
Okay.
So Cancun, I think, as a city, is like a sexier, younger city. It's like a party
Palm
spring break
Springs,
city.
yeah, probably.
Yeah. So it was not like the Villages, It was more of like a hip vibe, sexy, rich Manhattanites. And I guess that's what I was kind of expecting from the Sea Mountain Resort Spa. And,
sponsor.
I am still on their email list, and I have tried to unsubscribe many times, and I'm just still getting the email. And I was like, wow, it's really kind of brilliant, because it's like, what if I'm still getting this email 50 years from now, and then I just like fucking go,
That is
and then I'm the problem.
The commitment to marketing there is incredible. That's good.
Well, but it's a bad sign though, because it's like, consent is so important with a place like that, and
Absolutely,
with email.
Yeah.
So
yes.
I don't know.
You gotta unsubscribe from this sexual experience. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
That, I mean, obviously, I think we were all hoping that you did go and had to experience it firsthand. But I mean, this is. I feel like reviews in themselves can be misleading sometimes, right? So a restaurant, true. When they're whatever, some lady had a bad experience with the one hostess, but the food's delicious, she gives them 1 star, and you're like, well, this restaurant is actually really good, but you made it sound really bad. Now this, however, I think would be better.
Right. You can see too from reviews sometimes, like the psychosis that the person has, which made them have a bad experience in the first place, So I didn't get any hints of that in the reviews that I read for the Sea Mountain Resort Spa, but I have had experience with that, like with Amazon or something. It's like this shower curtain didn't stop my wife from leaving me. It's like, okay, that's not on the inside. Yeah, you're reviewing yourself.
That's
the shower
not a shower curtain
mirror
thing, right?
For the dysfunction.
Yeah, well, maybe this young couple was having some trouble, and that's why they wanted to go bang other people. I don't know.
Right.
Were you?
I don't know. It's like the kind of thing where it's like, you don't want to have and I've heard of like places like that in New York City where it's like, which is where I live, which is why my hair looks bad. Let me just say that, because we have no water in my building right now. Oh. So the concrete jungle where dreams are made of. And my dream is now to live in a building where the water works. So anyway, I got off track, but there are places like around here in New York that are like sexy, like it's a sexy club, and you go and you can like have sex in it, I guess, or something. But
okay.
But now I'm like, I don't know. It has to be like a gentle introduction, I think about going, but then it's like, what if there's a bad surprise?
Yeah.
The Sea Mountain Resort Spa has scarred me.
Well, and I would think that, so if you went for the first time, right, at a resort where you were staying there, like if you go to a sex club for the first time, then you can leave it when maybe you feel uncomfortable or whatever, then you can go, or you could stay for longer. I've recently performed in 2 sex clubs in Oregon.
Oh wow!
They've been.
You did stand-up comedy. In the
I
sex
did.
clubs.
Yes. I got COVID at
Okay.
one of them actually, but
Oh
it
wow!
was,
Well,
yeah,
that's the least of your worries. That's an STD. That's technically an STD.
technically an STD. Yeah. Which is, I mean, I've performed for other like swingers events where they like rented out a whole hotel. It's a huge industry. I know
Wow.
people don't talk about it as much, but like resorts and clubs and stuff like this, like they're all over the place. Yeah, and I performed for
technically a
one.
corporate.
Yeah, and they like rented out 2 hotels next to each other. Like that's how many people were there. Because then they like do,
Wow.
all these different things. The rooms, you leave them open and then people can go in and out and stuff, whatever the room. Some rooms just have snacks or whatever, but some of them just have beds and stuff. Anyway, so it's like a huge industry. And I think there's lots of opportunity if that was something you were interested in. So did you make this decision or try to make this decision just because your friend had a good time there, or were you already maybe thinking about it, or...
Well,
How does this
it was
come
the
up, I
kind of
guess?
thing where it's like you're on a vacation and you're like, what are we going to do? And
Fuck some old people.
one of the things of like Palm Springs is like, oh, the springs.
Right.
You
That's
go
what's
for
in
the
the name.
Pluto waters or whatever. And I thought that I was initially drawn because I was like, oh, wouldn't it be sexy to go and like be naked in them?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm good, just like a little skinny dipping in the daytime. And so in Palm Springs, there's a bunch of places where you can do like naked swimming.
Okay.
Not like a bunch. There's like a couple different ones where it's like naked swimming is like okay. So I kind of just wanted like a more innocent, like lighthearted nude swimming experience.
Okay, I see.
Maybe where I would just be like, oh, this is my body. I'm exploring myself. Not necessarily like my boyfriend like pounding me at like a pool.
Right. Which,
more of a classy woman's experience with a sex resort.
Yeah, that's
So-
much different in a hot spring than in a pool.
A hot spring and a pool, the difference is huge.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the difference between elegant and trashy.
Exactly.
And
This is natural
going-
elegance and chlorinated trash.
Yes. I was going for the sexual resort experience of, Downton Abbey.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that's really more of my vibe. But yeah, this actually just seemed like a fuck pool. So different. And I will say we tried to go to one other one. We ended up with like just never getting it together. And this one was more just like, it was like a hotel with like the pools or whatever, the springs. And then you could swim in one naked. And then we decided not to go to that one. And then we ended up going to just like this community pool, I guess. It was like a bunch of different hot springs, and it was like all the locals, and even that was pretty depressing. It was just like local people that lived in the area kind of like blacking out on margaritas that they made at home and then brought. So it's not really good to drink in a hot tub.
No,
I
it
learned
really
that.
speeds stuff up. Yeah, definitely. So but people were clothed there.
Barely.
Barely. Okay.
But this was more like the why.
Margaritas and then the why? You guys want to go?
Yeah, we were basically at the Y hanging out like it was a luxury vacation. I mean, the whole vacation was a bad idea. The sea resort spa was just, I mean, that would have been the icing on the cake, but the entire vacation, we broke up actually like 2 weeks after that.
Do you think it had to do with this vacation? Or was this
Yeah,
like your
it
have
kinda-
a baby, try to hold on to the relationship vacation?
Totally. And I'm just now, I feel like this is therapy because now I'm starting to work through it. Maybe I haven't been ready.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'm ready now, but we did have a chat during the trip where we went to a Mexican restaurant, and also I was like trying to do, when you're like broke and you're like, oh, we can afford a vacation, and then you get there and you're like, oh, we can't
do
we can't
anything
afford
though.
this.
Yeah.
We can't afford this. So I was like on Groupon the entire time, like, oh, I found a deal, but it's like you just save $5 and then you drive like 100 miles out of the way.
Yeah.
You're like, great, we did it. And And then, so we were at one dinner like that, and I was like, are we going to move in together, do you think? And my boyfriend was like, no.
He just, wow, just didn't think about it, just said no immediately.
He was like, it's just not going to happen. And I was just kind of, cried into the enchiladas. But I was like so in denial. I was like, it's fine. I remember telling my friends, I'm like, yeah, he just doesn't want to move in together, but it's fine. It's fine. And they were like, what? Sounds insane.
Would that conversation have gone differently if you were nude in a hot spring?
Probably I think not. So.
You think
and that's
so?
Why I really regret not going to the hot spring.
Yeah, there you go.
I brought the end on the relationship because I wasn't willing to push myself to have sex in front of, some grandparents.
Those are the, man. Whew.
I'm a woman. I blame myself.
Well, we don't blame you. I think it was a good choice not to go to the. Yeah, I mean, I'm just imagining you having this conversation around with just a bunch of naked old dudes creeping on you. Around.
I want to move in.
Yeah, exactly.
And someone's like kind of like jerking off by my face. No, he's like, no, it's not gonna happen. I'm like, okay. I mean, maybe I would have rebounded. Maybe I would have rebounded quicker.
You definitely would have had the opportunities, I'm sure. But
I feel like I've always had tons of bad ideas about stuff like that. Like one time I was like, I'm going to get on that sugar daddy website,
yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
I always have ideas like that where it's like, I'm just kind of like a frumpy person, but like in my mind's eye, I'm like, oh, I'm a dominatrix and I have a theater background and I can step into the role. And I was on this sugar daddy website. I was like, I saw the, is it Lisa Ling, who she used to do like corresponding from Oprah.
Yeah.
And she does like all types of like investigative journalism. And she did a whole thing of like sugar daddies, sugar babies. And I was like, this is wild. Like these old guys are just going to like throw money at you. I was like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I was on the app for like 10 minutes and I got so freaked out. I mean, it is just nuts. It's just like a random guy that just has a bio that's like, I have a private jet, I'm a billionaire. And then they're just writing like horrific stuff to you of like stuff they want to do to you. And I was just like, oh my God, this is not Tinder. I was in over my head immediately. And then I just pulled the plug. But I had told all my friends, I'm like, I'm getting a sugar daddy. I'm going to do it. My friends were like, what happened? I'm like, nothing happened. Never speak of it again.
Terrifying. Oh my God. Well, first of all, if you are a woman who's never considered something like this or stripping or something, then you've had a very privileged life. Okay. All of us at some point are like, well, let me look into it, I never like signed up, but I know the sites that you're talking about and could see that would be. I'm not good with that type of energy anyways, when guys are like, I'll do all the stuff. I'll take care of it. Like they are very convincing, and the like money is supposed to convince you to do whatever I want. And you're like, I guess it is. I don't know. So I don't like that. Seems like it would be scary. Anyways, I guess for even 10 minutes, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, first of all, did you see the Tinder swindler that was just on?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
It's like, first of all, there's nothing that says that they actually have that money. It's like, I don't know.
That's true.
For me, it was like less of like, oh, I need money, and more of like, oh, I guess like this would be a sexy kind of like, what was that book, 50 Shades of Grey,
mm-hmm. which
it was like terrible, but there was kind of like this like erotic fantasy of like this guy's like taking care of everything, and it's like so hot, and then like you don't have to like work at your shitty day job. You're like, oh, this is my job now, looking hot at dinner. I guess it's like a materialistic like kind of bitchy thing, but it wasn't necessarily like about the materialism as much as it was about like, if I'm going to date a boy, like, or if I'm going to date a guy, like maybe like, how about it's not a guy that I have to pay for a vacation and then he tells me he doesn't want to move in with me.
Yeah. I mean, that seems like
it's going to the opposite. I think like once you date like enough broke guys, you're like, well, I could just, if I'm going to deal with nonsense, it might as well be like the guy that's like taking me out to dinner.
Yeah, might as well be rich.
If he's going to be, it's like a lot of guys sorry to Blake, who seems like a guy, but you know,
Yes.
like when you're dating, especially when you're dating in your 20s, you're like, you just go through like scenario after scenario where you're like, what the fuck was that? Like, I dated a guy once whose bathroom door didn't close, and like I would have to pee. I'd be like sitting on the door, like squatting, holding.
Oh God.
And his roommates were like, "Is someone in here?" I'm like, "Ah,
Yes.
yes." It's like, if I'm gonna deal with that, like maybe I'll just also let the guy give me like $100.
Yeah. Or, I mean, because I think for the most part, in real life, the same people that may have been at the swingers resort, aesthetically, probably pretty similar to the sugar daddy, you know? Like, that's not going to be your ideal physical mate, this rich guy with the private jets and all that stuff. But in the movies, 50 Shades of Grey, that guy's like a good-looking dude, you know? Like, either it's not...
True.
That's not realistic. That's not what the actual sugar baby daddy situation would be. Not some hot guy that's like teaches. I don't even know what that book's really about, but I think gets her into hitting each other or whatever.
Yeah, honestly,
That's
I
not
never read it.
the
I started
scenario.
reading it, but it's long, and there's no sex. It's
Really?
like page 90, and like at page 90, she like masturbates a little bit. And you're like, I've been reading for hours.
I've been waiting for this. What the hell?
But yeah, you're right though. I think there is like, I guess it's like ugly dudes that go to the website, to the sugar daddy website, because they're like, don't worry, like I have money and that makes up for it. But then it's also like, yeah, I don't know.
That is an
Some
interesting.
guys, if a guy has like a confidence, then that's sexy.
Yeah. And money can provide a confidence, I assume. I don't have it.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't fucking know.
Yeah.
So.
That is and that Tinder swindler thing, that's a good point, because you don't know. Like, I never even thought about that until you said that like on the sugar whatever, or even on Tinder or whatever, somebody could put that this is their job and whatever, and that not be true. I don't know why I never thought of that.
Totally. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I ever had that happen to me. I feel like I may have. It's just had so many. Oh, I went on a date once with a guy who wouldn't tell me his last name. And then I went on the date and he had lied. His photos were like 15 years old. Oh, which is hilarious to me, because it's like, did you think I wasn't going to find out? Like,
right, yeah. What was your plan for this part? That's a bad idea on his part.
I know. And he was like, well, I lied, but you never would have gone out with me because I was outside of your age range. I'm like, well, the age range is there as a boundary between me and the elderly.
And people or people who are going to lie to me about it. Like, why would that? And then always the height
so funny,
thing.
because like I think there's like a double standard with guys and girls, where it's like the dude tried to make out like, well, he had to lie because like women are so shallow and he would just be judged on his appearance.
Right.
It's like, but first of all, you're judging me on my appearance. And second of all, you're a liar.
Yeah,
so
and it's still,
I'm not judging you on the fact that you're totally dishonest. That's my first impression of you.
Yeah, and what was his thought, that you were going to be like, oh, well, okay, you know, like that. This is fine. This is a good start to a relationship.
Yeah, he seemed to think that the date went well, and yeah, he asked me if he could kiss me, and I was like, I guess, you know. I had like, if I have like 3 glasses of wine, it's like,
I'll kiss anybody.
Fair game.
Did he pay?
We like got on the train together, which I was like, oh, I think there was just other signs that he was awful. Like I didn't offer to pay for my own drinks, because I was like, I mean, at this point, like,
right, yeah, you lied, and you're clearly older than I am, so you should be more established financially.
Yeah, but he was like, you're not going to offer to pay for the drinks. I was like, are you serious? So it's like there were other red flags that I was like, oh, this is just an awful person. But meanwhile, I'm like, yeah, kiss away, I guess. Let's see what happens.
Why not? Oh,
why the hell not? Glass number 3, get it in.
They should do.
I fucked him. No, just kidding. I didn't.
It's okay if you did. This is a safe space.
Thank you. Thank God.
Well, yeah, we're here to support your bad ideas and say, look, first of all, you did some research on the sex party place. What's it called? Resort. The nudist
Sea
resort. I don't
Mountain
know.
Resort Spa.
I love
and
how
buffet.
that's really stuck in your head. I think the most disappointing part is that the buffet apparently wasn't very good, but
Yeah, I know. They said the chicken was really greasy. That was the big feedback on the chicken. I was like, well, I mean, it's hard to mess up chicken, but then I do remember seeing one other review that said that the buffet just like wasn't replenished, and that's where I was like, I'm done.
Yeah,
it wasn't even about like the rapey elements. I was like, if they're not filling up the buffet,
right.
how am I going to stay there for 8 hours?
What's the point of a buffet if it's not there? The point is to go back multiple times.
Yeah, I'm an introvert, you know, so, and I don't do that great at parties. So I need to be by the buffet. That's my safe space. So I need to be by the buffet just, you know, to like make conversation. I can't be out in the party. But if the buffet is shitty, I can't be over there like, this lettuce is good, right? You know, like the chicken's gone. I'm just like picking at the garnish.
I was gonna say, you know, you're just standing next to empty plates, like that's normal.
Yum.
I think the lesson learned here for everyone, at least, is to Google before you go to a sex club. I didn't, you know, you normally don't think about the fact that most things have reviews, but including sex clubs and sex resorts or whatever they're called. I know that's not the right terms, but whatever.
You know, I wonder if one day I'm going to get the guts to like go do something like that, but maybe I'll just wait until I'm old. Maybe that's why it's just old people. They're like, what do we have to lose?
Yeah, that's true. Or I feel like, I mean, it seems like a bit of a, not a scary conversation, but people would be afraid to have that conversation if that's something you're interested in, to bring it up to your partner, afraid that they might not be, you know, or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe if you're a dude. I feel like dudes are always into that type of stuff.
Well, yeah, of course. But then if they bring it up, then if the woman's offended by that, so then they'd be afraid to bring it up, not just to make her, not because they didn't want to, but just because they didn't want to make her mad. So then as you get older, maybe you're married for a long time and you need to spice it up somehow.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's why you have to bring it up at the right time.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, I think.
It's perfect week.
After you. Yes. Get a gift. And would you like to have sex publicly?
Would you like to, in the card it says, would you like to, happy Valentine's Day, do you want to have sex publicly? Thinking of you with other people in front of me. Oh my goodness. Well, I think we learned a lot. However, you know, you'll have to have you back, and maybe if you've decided to actually have one of those experiences, then we can learn even more.
I am a correspondent now for this show.
Yes,
I'm the sexual correspondent.
Sexual correspondent, which is very important when we're talking about bad ideas. There's a lot of bad sexual ideas.
Sure.
Well, where can people find you if they want to follow you? And definitely go check you out at Laughs in Seattle this weekend.
Yes, I am. I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram at Katie Hannigan Forever, and I'm on Twitter at Katie Hannigan.
Nice.
And that's it. Yes, please come to the show this weekend. It's going to be great.
Yeah, give her a follow, and then when your album comes out in March, we'll repost it and all that stuff so that everybody can go get it, and it'll be great. If you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe, and we have YouTube memberships if you want to join, or if you're listening on one of the podcast apps, give us a review, a rating, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Anyways, you guys are great, and thank you so much for doing the show, Katie. Have fun this weekend, and right now you can just keep watching Dumb Pitches.
You're weird.
Yes.